Well, hello everybody. It's Thursday night again at 7 p.m. It's time for the next edition of the live stream. Wait for some people to hustle on in here. It's only 6:58. It's 2 minutes to 7, so we're not there yet. Don't panic. You got time to get in here and ask your questions. It's going to be okay. Can people hear me okay? Hopefully so. New setup this week. Think it looks a lot better. Hopefully it sounds better. I don't know until you guys tell me. So I'm going to watch the comments here for a minute and see what happens. And we will get started here in about 2 minutes at 7 o'clock. See if a few more people show up. Type in a little greeting here. See who's hiding out, waiting. Let's see. We got all kinds of things we could talk about. Technology today. Gadgets or feelings about technology, good or bad. We have options. This is a question-driven show so far. Why, thank you. I'd like to thank Sheridan for her painting work on the walls. You can thank me for the colorful lighting in the bathroom. I guess the purple light bulbs she wanted the RGB bulbs. I think they were a good call. I like some RGB bulbs, especially cheap ones. She got some awesome deals. Costco's got them on sale again right now, $5 a piece for an RGB Wi-Fi bulb. I don't think you're going to beat $5 a bulb. That's a super cheap deal. I don't know how long they're on sale for. Oh, hey Nancy, how are you? It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Shamry Jr. Do you go by Shamry Jr.? Is that your alternate ego on YouTube? Is that what's going on? Okay, audio is good. I hear the audio is good. Excellent. Alright, that's what I like to hear. People can hear me, people can see me. We're already winning. We're already winning. Alternate. I see. The sneaky side of YouTube. Alternate personalities. You got fakes on Facebook and YouTube. It's good times. See who else is coming in. I don't know. Hopefully more people will show up soon. This is only week 3 of the live stream, so we're trying to get it going here, get some more people in. Oh, I saw that about the Netflix crackdown on the passwords. I thought they cracked down a few years ago, so I didn't read yet what they cracked down on. Did you see what they cracked down on? Because I didn't read the article. I just saw it a little while ago myself. I don't like the password sharing, though. They want to make that money, especially when the streaming is all they got because the DVDs are dying. For a long time now, I guess. I don't really use them much, except for some old TV shows that are just hard to find on digital occasionally. Hulu doesn't have everything, but they have a lot. Not everything. Alright, well, while people show up, I guess we can talk about some basic computer stuff. I don't know, maybe we can talk about the latest update from Microsoft that may be crashing your computer. Apparently, Microsoft rolled out an update, I believe it is KB number 50802, that if you try to print PDFs or Word docs or Excel or whatever, you just get a blue screen. Your computer just shuts down. I spent a good portion of my day today just uninstalling that update. It has been removed from the Microsoft Store, but it is installed on a lot of machines already and causing some grief out there. So if you start having blue screens suddenly when you're trying to print, it is going to be that Windows update, I assure you, that just installed 2 days ago. Super easy to uninstall. Just got to go in there and find it, get rid of it, and seems like that takes care of the issue. No more crashes. Fixed like 15 computers for it today, so... Oh, Microsoft. They all botch it sometimes. Apple also botches it sometimes, so don't get on your Apple horse. Think you're going to ride around here looking cool? Because they do it too. They all botch it. It's all coded by people who aren't paid enough sometimes, so... That's what happens. That's what happens. Anybody got any questions out there? I see people lurking. I don't see any questions right now, just a lot of lurking going on. There's also been the wonderful Exchange hack that's been ongoing, asking people who run their own on-premise Exchange servers to update them with the latest patches. I just use the cloud hosting through Office 365. I go through a reseller, but there's plethoras of resellers you can use. Main benefit of a reseller is you get usually better support than you get when you go through Microsoft. They're just difficult to deal with, I find, because they're so big. What version of Windows do I recommend? I mean, Windows 10, obviously. I think that's the only current. I guess Windows 8.1 is not fully end of life. They're letting that ride out for like another year and a half. Windows 7 is definitely end of life. They want that thing gone. I think that was back January of last year they wanted that gone. So Windows 10, I guess the latest update I think is 20H2, the version of it on Windows 10. Seems to be pretty stable. There were some problems with the version before that one, but that one seems like it's been pretty stable, pretty good. So hopefully they won't botch it again. The version before that had some serious issues for gamers, apparently, from what I'm told. I used to be a gamer, got in a huge angry fight with Microsoft over the Xbox 360. That was a long time ago. I realize it. I'm still mad about it. I mean, I don't lose sleep over it, but I'm just saying I hadn't gotten back into gaming ever since then. That pretty much drove me away. It was so frustrating. I went through 5 Xbox 360s. So Microsoft has a history of hosing things that I like them. I like Windows. I use it primarily. Still find it incredibly frustrating at times that they screw this stuff up so much. I don't know. That's what happens. So, yeah, fun times. What other questions do people have out there? Somebody's got to have a question. Can't all just be lurkers hanging out. Got to be some tech questions. It's the time. You can ask whatever questions you like. I'm here to answer them. Apple is going to make stereoscopic headsets. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about the over-ear AirPods. I can't think what those are called. It's not the AirPod Pros. Something else. That have the audio that's the spatial audio where you can look around when you're doing VR and stuff like that, or playing videos that have spatial audio on YouTube. My understanding is now the headset will actually track that with the gyroscope, so as you turn, it will move the audio around you as if you're turning your head while you're really there looking at the 360 video. Or even if it's not a 360 video, I guess you can have it where the audio will rotate around you as you watch the video in turn. When will hot chicks be 3D printed? I don't know how to answer that question. Are they not doing that already? What are they not 3D printing? I mean, there's the Real Doll out there, which is the creepiest talking mannequin you can buy for companionship, but I don't know. Are there better things than the Real Doll? If you don't know it, you can Google that. It's a good time. It's on an HBO special forever ago, but yeah, she says already happening. I'm with her on that. I think people are already doing the weird stuff with 3D printing. It's yeah. That curtain's been opened. Good grief. Technology is in everything now. It doesn't even matter. Your washing machine, your refrigerator can have an Android tablet built into the door. Seems like a terrible idea to me, but I realize that people really dig it. But I know when your phone dates like every 2 years, I'm seriously wondering what happens when my refrigerator door is 2 years old, because my refrigerator should last far longer than 2 years. They are expensive, so I'm hoping that the Android phone in the door doesn't go out, because that would be super annoying. We'll see what happens, though. Nope, no more questions. I'm checking over here. If you're wondering what I'm looking at the chat window over here, checking out the questions. Trying to see what's going on with people as they're talking to me. So, yeah, good times. What other questions do we have about tech? Anything? Anybody got questions? Somebody's got to have some questions. Hopefully. Got to get more going on the live stream. Want to try to help people as much as I can. Answer any questions. Doesn't matter if it's shopping stuff. Are you saying I should replace my 4-year-old phone? I can't say that anymore. That's part of what Apple's struggling with now, is that people are not buying as many phones. And it used to be years ago, Apple actually would separate phone sales from all the other Apple products out there that they were selling. And I guess as the number of phones selling dropped because people realized you don't have to buy a new phone every single year. They're so fast now for quite a few years that I have a few people using 5- and 6-year-old phones that seem like they work just fine. If you're not gaming or trying to do augmented reality stuff, whatever, it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal. So the older phones were hurting their bottom line, and so they basically, I guess, quit reporting the phones separately and just made it all one big number of things Apple sold for the year to keep shareholders happy. And then the next thing they did was they actually just started jacking the price, and so that's why it's like $1,500 for the flagship iPhone. Not because their cost went drastically up, just because they have to keep shareholders happy and keep their share price moving up. So I'm not thrilled about that. I am an Apple user. I like my iPhone a lot as a filmmaker in the past, doing a lot of film work and stuff. It has a lot of handy tools that I just didn't find on Android. They're both good platforms. Just totally depends on what you like using, honestly, just personal preference. Why are card prices still through the roof? Why on NVIDIA cards? Two reasons. One, the tariffs that were put in place a while back on China has added at least $100 to the price of pretty much every video card on the market. And secondly, the demand is crazy right now because of all the cryptocurrency stuff. I know Elon Musk just pushed some other cryptocurrency super high recently, and so people are buying them to do all the cryptocurrency mining again. And also, I believe there's still just been a shortage from the factories. We had that lag with COVID last year that shut everything down for a while, and so there was that to get through, as well as now the surge on all the cryptocurrency stuff. So that's definitely making them popular and making them hard to get again. I got a friend that was just looking at them, and cards that are supposed to be like $200 were going for $600 on eBay, which is ridiculous. So hopefully you don't need a new graphics card right now. Keep yours dusted, blow it out, keep it clean so it doesn't burn up, because you don't want to spend that kind of money on another video card right now. It's no bueno. No bueno. What other questions do people have? Something. I don't know what. Lots of new gadgets coming out all the time. Gotta be something you're trying to figure out how to use. Get a question a lot about should people install Windows updates, which, as I said earlier, they just had a buggy one. I usually recommend installing them, though I realize that there can be a problem sometimes, but majority of the time I let mine auto-update. Things seem like they're fine, so when people ask, yes, I think usually the risk of crashing something due to an update is less than the risk of being hacked with all the constant things going on. Any kitchen devices with cool technology I recommend? Yes, there are several, actually. There's one called the June oven that is super awesome. I think they're in their 3rd generation now, and it is a smart oven that actually has a camera in it that will monitor whatever food you place in. So if you slide like a piece of pizza or a fish fillet or a steak or something in there, the camera sees the food. It will identify it it's got a built-in display in the front door of the thing, and so it will actually identify the food, verify with you that it has the right food, and then it will recommend how to cook it. It has scales in the feet so it can weigh the food and knows how heavy the food is that you put in there, so it can determine cooking time. There's a probe you can put in the food so it will automatically monitor the temperature. Connects to an app and will alert you as to when you need to go grab your food. Just, I don't know, it's pretty cool. That one's been around for a few years now, and I had a client that got one of those, and it was pretty sweet in the 1st generation. The 3rd generation's come a long way. And there is another oven out. What is the name of the other one? I cannot remember. I'll have to look here in a minute. There's another oven that is out that is a smart oven also that cooks with light that looks pretty neat, that has like 3 different areas for food, so you can cook a whole meal for the family all on one tray. It looks pretty sweet. Lots of smart ovens out there these days. Some smart toasters that try to steam and toast your toast to perfection. Speaking of being hacked, what's going on with Lastpass? Also before that, should I turn on auto update? Like I said, I realize some people are against auto update. Especially some corporations will lock it down and won't allow any updates, because if you've got 1,000 computers or 5,000 computers in your fleet, the last thing you need is 3,000 computers that won't boot after they all get a bad update. So I can understand that, but for one-offs, if you've only got a handful of computers, you probably don't have an IT department that's monitoring things all the time and watching to see, if there's a major security risk that really needs to have the update pushed through versus it's kind of a patch for some other stuff that's not critical. Let's wait and make sure that it's smooth. If you've got an IT department managing all that stuff all the time and keeping up with it, then I don't necessarily need auto update on. But if you're a individual person or a small company, I usually recommend keeping it on just because they're constantly discovering bugs in all the software out there. Microsoft is definitely not immune to it, nor Apple. So you'll see they both issue updates every month for a variety of things. So yeah, I recommend keeping auto update on. I think it's the safer bet, honestly, than having your machine hacked or something like that. Not that you still can't get hacked or get ransomware. Probably the other biggest thing I recommend is Bitdefender. They are a great product. They have a ransomware remediation tool that I have not had to use yet, but it is supposed to automatically roll back files that were encrypted so that you don't lose your data. I have had one client that got ransomed, and they had no choice but to pay $5,000 in Bitcoin to get their data back because it encrypted every single thing on their NAS. It was right after I had started to work with them as a new client. They left their old IT company who told them they were backing up, and they were not backing up. So no matter who tells you you're backing up, even me, I don't care, because backups can break. Always check your backups periodically and do a test restore, because there's nothing worse than having backups say they're working and you go to grab a file and then you can't actually restore a file and have an issue. Uh-oh. Do we have a glitch in the stream? I think we had a glitch in the stream. I don't know what happened there. Lastpass was another question. So Lastpass is an awesome tool. Lets you track passwords for websites and will sync them if you install the app on your phone and on your desktop, on your laptop, whatever. Anytime you are in your laptop or desktop browsers and you have LastPass set up and you log into a website, it's going to prompt you automatically if you want to save that username and password. And so I have so many logins with all the stuff I manage for people, hundreds and hundreds, that I don't want to even try to remotely keep track of those things. So I use LastPass. It's been free for personal use. They had some paid features that were extra, and for many years I've been using it free, and you could put the app for free on your phone, your browser, whatever, and also would sync between them for free. They have finally announced that starting March 16th, whatever device you log in on after March 16th is going to become the de facto. So if you log in from a laptop or a desktop after March 16th, it is going to lock you to only being able to use the app on laptops and desktops and not on tablets and phones. Conversely, if you log in on a phone or a tablet first on the 16th or after, then it's going to only let you use it for free on tablets and phones, but not on your desktop and laptop. They just want you to pay. I'm going to pay. They're running a deal right now that I think instead of $36 a year, it's like $27 for a year. To me, $2 or $3 a month is completely worth it to not have to manage hundreds of passwords. If I'm out on site working somewhere and I have my phone, I can just hop on the 4G, open LastPass up and log in and grab whatever I need from any site. So that has saved me tremendous amounts of time when needing to log into stuff in a hurry. I don't know is the stream blipping on you guys? I'm seeing blips over here like the stream is freezing up on YouTube. I can't really. It says excellent. I don't know if it's actually freezing or not. You guys will have to tell me if it is. Ovens, Brava, and I don't know what the Tovala is. Let me look. I'm going to pull it up. The Tovala and the Brava. Brava oven. Is the Brava oven the special toaster? I don't know what the Brava oven is. I can't find the Brava. You don't see any blips? Okay, weird. I got some freezes on the screen here on YouTube as though the stream is freezing, but... Oh, sous vide competitor. Yeah, probably so. Oh, there's the Brava. Oh, yeah, the Brava oven. That was the other one that had the glass tray. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. Brava oven. Also a smart oven that looks pretty sweet. I don't know. They have a 100-day risk-free guarantee, but it's like a $1,200 oven or something. I don't remember. It is not cheap. The other one, I think the June oven is down to like $500 or $600 now, so drastically cheaper. It used to be $1,200 or $1,400 for that one, and so it's a heck of a lot cheaper now, which is nice. What other tech questions do people have out there? It's got to be something. Good deals on computers. If you're looking for good deals on computers, I like Costco if they have something you want, honestly. They have a free second-year warranty automatically on every computer you buy there, and you get 90 days to try out whatever computer you get and return it. and get a full refund, no restock fee. So that's hard to beat. Not everybody's doing that. So I try to use Costco a lot anytime they have a good deal on a laptop or desktop. Otherwise, I tend to personally order Dells, whatever their good deals are. I like Dells personally a lot, mostly because I find it easy to build carts and send to clients and order what I need, and they're fast. So regarding the update question, she says, does the same apply for iPhone? I'm now missing 2 or 3 updates. Do I have to add them all at this point, or just the most recent one? I know these are novice questions. No, these are great questions. I'm happy to answer any questions people have. It's honestly, it's what I do on my day job. I just wanted to expand to a wider audience online and try to help more people and spread the word out there. There's a lot of extremely grumpy IT workers. I don't understand why. They are paid well. They just like to complain that people ask a lot of questions. But, I mean, if you don't like getting asked questions, get a different job. I don't know what to say to that. It's ridiculous. I get why people are so grumpy. So, Apple updates. I have mixed emotions on the Apple updates. I usually do them. I know some people freaked out during COVID last year when they wanted to turn on the contact tracing because some people were worried they were going to start tracking you everywhere or something like that. And I don't know. I understand the argument for and against privacy on all this stuff. That's a whole nother can of worms to get into. I'm not even going to try right now. But yeah, a lot of people were turning off their updates for that because they didn't want to have contact tracing installed. Occasionally, I have had an iPhone update as well that will cause a problem with an app, and then I can't use that app until they update, and that can be super frustrating because there is no way to roll back on an iPhone, at least on a Windows computer, if you install a bad update. Worst case, there were some people that installed an update a while back that was bad, and you got 10 days to remove it. After that, it would delete the rollback point to save space on your drive, and so that sucked just if you were like on day 12. I had one guy who was on day 12. He'd been crashing every day, couldn't figure out what was going on, finally figured out it was a bad update, and then there was nothing we could do except wait for the next update or try to wipe and reinstall Windows. So that was a super sucky situation, but he was the only client I had that ran into that issue where he was just totally trapped. I had another one later crashing, but the next update was available and we installed it and it fixed the problem. So I usually do the iOS updates. It's typically security issues. If you read the description, sometimes they'll tell you, if they'll pretend it's a security issue, and it's like the thing where they said, we're adding contact tracing. Well, they weren't really fixing anything. They were just adding contact tracing and trying to call it an update so more people would install it because they were worried about not enough people installing it. And if you don't get enough people to install it, then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the contact tracing because you just don't have enough data to work with really to get that happening. So I can understand both sides of the argument on that one. But yeah, I install my iOS updates. I usually don't have auto update on my iOS, but I will typically within a week or so, or if I see an alert, something, on the news that's like, hey, major hack, usually not exploited, but somebody's discovered it and they just want you to go ahead and install it to be safe. So yeah, short answer. That's a very wordy answer, but short answer, Nancy. I usually just update everything. Maybe I give it a couple of days if it's like right then. Because typically if a bunch of people have problems on day 1, by day 3 or 4, either Microsoft or Apple will pull the update because they've had so many people freak out about it. So, yeah, I guess that's my answer. Hopefully that's helpful. Elon Musk moves another tech biz to Central Texas. That's what I've read. I saw something. I know he's got Neuralink here already now, which is his wet-wired brain implant chip that's supposed to help people. I think one of the focuses is handicapped people, either being able to activate limbs through just thinking about it with the Neuralink chip, or possibly other augmented things. I haven't seen what else they're working on, but I mean, if they're going to tap into your brain, I'm assuming the sky's the limit. I've seen some freaky sci-fi movies, and they seem to always predate whatever's coming in tech, because tech can't stand it. They want to make whatever they saw in the movies happen. So I won't be surprised at all if that has a lot of different things going on with Neuralink in the long run. And then he's got SpaceX that he's doing. He's also trying to start, is it Star City? I think it's Star City. That's his city he wants to launch, which is pretty entertaining. I guess they're going to incorporate Boca Boca Chica, I think Boca Chica, Texas. He wants to incorporate that and a much larger area and turn that into Star City, which will be like his state-of-the-art, live, work, cool, fast internet, land of the future setup. I'm cool with it. It sounds rad. And then I guess his business that just got announced that he's moving here is Starlink, which is his satellite internet project. So he wants to bring high-speed internet, supposedly faster than gigabit, faster than Google Fiber even and stuff, via satellite all over the place. And so I have no idea how close they are on that, but I do know that bringing high-speed internet to rural areas would be just a total game changer. I mean, for one, just the educational opportunities that would suddenly exist, especially with so many online college courses and just so much online education and awesome shows like Smarter Every Day that just teach you about how the world works and how different pieces of technology work, rockets, space travel, satellites, whatever. There's just, I don't know, there's so much opportunity to learn stuff. So I definitely think Starlink sounds like an awesome program if they can get that guy all going. I would love to see that. I know I read something else they're working on about beaming energy through satellites. I don't remember if it's NASA that's working on this one or somebody else, but they are basically realizing that they can take solar panels, mount them on a satellite, and if they put them in orbit around the Earth, the solar panels can gather far more of a charge a lot faster because they're not blocked by the atmosphere and it's not filtering all that blue light, and so it can get the full spectrum. And I guess their goal is they could charge up a massive battery floating around in space with these solar panels, and then from there basically beam energy on demand down to the surface of the Earth at a moment's notice wherever. So, for example, maybe the power grid in Texas needs more juice. I don't know why that would happen. But let's just say that, theoretically, we had a power shortage in Texas, the energy leader. I don't know why that would happen. We're going to pretend for a minute that could happen. And if it did, the theory is they could beam a whole bunch of megawatts somewhere and just add energy wherever. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if it's similar to wireless charging now, where there's going to be a beam that comes down and vibrates something on the land, and that then generates electricity as a generator. That's how most of that wireless stuff works. So I suspect it will be something similar to that they're going to do. But it sounds awesome. I don't know what the capacity for satellites in space is before they start ramming into each other. I assume there is a finite limit between garbage that we've left out there and non-stop satellites launching for every possible thing we could want to do from space. So I don't know. We'll see how all that goes. I like watching all this stuff. I think it's an awesome time to be alive. That's probably crazy sounding with all the crap that's going on in the world, but nonetheless, from a technology perspective, I think it's an awesome time to be alive. There's just so much cool stuff that's happening and changing. That'll get hacked and rain destruction upon us. I know, right? I personally keep flashing back to that scene in Real Genius where they are popping the Jiffy Pop with the space laser that's meant to take people out. I love that movie. I watched Real Genius with Val Kilmer like way too many times in my childhood. It was one of the only VHS cassettes. That was before streaming. You walk in, you see the stack of 12 tapes by the TV, and you're like, well, which one of these 12 movies are we going to watch again? Because this is my movie collection. We're about to get us some tracking going on, and we're going to tweak it and get the rolling bars of distortion gone, and then we're going to enjoy this movie. It's going to be a good time. I heard there was a new Zoom app for desktops. Do you know how that works? I guess you would have to attach a camera to the monitor. A new Zoom app is in a competitor to Zoom, or just an update to the Zoom app? I haven't seen what's going on with Zoom, but now you've got me curious. But yeah, in answer to your question with doing any of the Zoom stuff, if you've got a laptop, most of them have a webcam built in that you can use. And if you've got any kind of desktop, then yeah, you can use a webcam and mount it on top of the monitor. And then another alternative is you can use, I'm using a not really a DSLR, it's a mirrorless camera, but whatever, DSLR mirrorless cameras. You could use an interchangeable lens camera, and my allergies are driving me crazy right now. My apologies. And with the interchangeable lens camera, you can get a better looking image like I'm getting here than you get with a webcam. Better low light performance. It's not very bright in this room, so I'm not blinding myself while I do a live stream here, which is nice. But they make adapters actually that you can hook up a variety of cameras to your computer with an HDMI cable, which is what I've done here, and then you can stream from those as well as using it as a webcam. I know that Elgato makes one called the CamLink 4K. Here, I'll pop a link in the description for people if you want to check it out. And it is a little USB device. Let's see if I can pop it up here. There it is. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. There it is. So this is a USB device that you can use, and basically you plug it into a USB 3 port, and then you plug in your HDMI cable from your camera, whatever HDMI camera you have. Even GoPros you can get HDMI adapters for, and then you could use a GoPro as your webcam with your computer as well. So it gives you lots of options once you have one of those adapters. Those are on sale for like $108 right now. But those USB adapters you can plug right in and get a feed from your camera and get a better looking image. So that's what I've got, a better camera here I like than the webcam. So I'll have to check out what the Zoom update is, though. I don't know what they've done. Did they add more features, or did they just do a security update, or any clue what's going on with that? I don't read it all. There's too much. I try. I read a lot. I love tech, but there's like 8,000 tech articles an hour coming out. I don't even know, or something. There's just too many things. It's impossible to keep up with. Got Indiegogo now and Kickstarter, and they're just throwing out crazy ideas nobody would have done before galore, because now you can get them funded. You can make anything you want. If you can come up with and get people to pitch in cash, you can probably pull it off, and China makes just about all of it. So it's pros and cons. Pros and cons to everything. It's just, what are you going to do? What other questions do people have? We're at the halfway point in the live stream. Appreciate those of you that are hanging in there. It's just going to keep getting better. I don't know what we're going to do yet. Maybe have some interviews coming up, possibly with some tech people, if that sounds appealing. I don't know. We're just trying to be consistent with the live stream and see where it goes, and see what people want to talk about, because I love having discussions about tech. I don't think my partner wants to hear any more of them. She's tired of it. She listens all day. She's like, oh my God, just stop telling me about the gadgets you want to buy. I heard. I know. There's more stuff. It's fine. I just like gadgets. What are you going to do? I won't stop talking about FPV drones right now, or electric bicycles, neither of which are cheap. Not in my budget at the moment. Man, I wish I could win one of each, or a lottery, and just buy both, but they're just not in the budget right now. But China says they are moving away from using American technology. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't really know why they need a lot of our technology at this point. I know the running joke years ago, was something made in China was just cheap and not going to last very long. And when I was a kid, I would agree with that. I think some of the things were good. A lot of it was just so cheaply made, it didn't last very long. But these days, China makes a lot of really great stuff. Just like most of the tech that you use is probably coming out of China. And they're making super awesome stuff. DJI is killing it with their products. They are, I think, one of the most sought after companies in China that people want to work for now. They have this huge competition that's like a week long or something, where people are building robots like BattleBots and stuff, and coming up with all kinds of cool technology to compete against each other. And the winners of the competition get jobs at DJI, and so they have thousands of people show up and compete at this thing. And I've seen videos where there's just hallways in this arena, and there's just people just lined up, sleeping in between competitions so that they don't miss out on anything. They don't want to leave and go to a hotel and not make it back in time, or have some issue, because obviously traffic could be a major congestion problem in China if everybody tries to move at once. It's you can definitely have major congestion issues with over 1 billion people. So they will just sleep in the hallways, eat in the hallways, do everything, just hang out there, only go to use the restroom, and then go into their competitions. And so that's a super high level of commitment to trying to get a job at DJI. I don't know if people would do that here in America or not. Maybe, but just people like to whine here a lot. We're pretty comfortable. People like to complain. What do I think of Bitcoin? They're saying Bitcoin uses more energy than Argentina. So all the cryptocurrencies so far basically have this giant string that's a mathematical string that is always being added to. It's called the blockchain. And the blockchain is a running tally of every transaction that has ever occurred with that cryptocurrency. And so every time somebody sends money or receives money or withdraws or deposits any of that stuff, it basically takes this giant math equation and crunches all the numbers down and then adds that to the chain. And that's how it knows what's happening with the transactions, is it's creating these unique identifiers by processing the algorithm. And then once it's created those, it uses that to store the information so it can decrypt and always know everything that's happened. It's all linked together. And so as transactions keep happening more and more and more, since that blockchain never goes away, the algorithm gets harder and harder and harder to solve. And basically, whenever you buy or sell things from a cryptocurrency, it has to solve that equation with a computer. And then once it solves the equation, it can do the transaction, calculate the new equation, whatever that is, and add that back up. I'm trying to simplify this as much as I can. I'm sure there's much more technical explanations of this that are better, but just trying to keep it simple. So once it's done that, obviously that requires computing power. And in the early days of cryptocurrency, when there weren't very many transactions, it was relatively simple for somebody to buy a computer with a good video card. They figured out that video cards are better at doing those mathematical equations faster and more efficiently than a regular desktop processor. And so that's why there's been this huge demand for all of the video cards all the time with cryptocurrencies, is so that they can run these things and try to do what they call mining. And by mining, all the computers act as this giant network, kind of like a hive brain. And whenever a transaction happens on that cryptocurrency network, it will basically start trying to solve on as many computers as it can. And whichever computer solves that and does the transaction gets paid a little tiny fraction of money in Bitcoin or whatever the cryptocurrency is for doing that equation calculation, whatever, kind of as a payment, like a bank would be paid a payment for doing something. And essentially, that situation has gotten so complex that now what used to be like, I'm going to go buy a computer and one video card and I'll do some Bitcoin mining and I'll make some money, and you could make some money. Now people go together as groups and they will rent a warehouse and get hundreds, maybe even thousands of computers from a variety of investors that all buy into this pool. And they have all of them running, and so they'll have special computers, special cases and computers that they put together that can hold 8, 10, 12 graphics cards just to do all of that mining for these cryptocurrencies. And so it has become something where if you're one person trying to get into it, unless you're super rich like an Elon Musk and can afford to buy thousands of computers and set up mining operations, you're probably not going to be profitable as an individual unless you get into one of those groups or into a big setup. But people are still trying it. They hope to get rich because the price will just surge sometimes on a Bitcoin, and you can have just a little bit and suddenly you've got a lot of money. But because of all those graphics cards that are running 24/7, always calculating all this stuff, it consumes copious amounts of electricity. And so that's one of the biggest arguments on all of the cryptocurrencies, is like, realistically, while people want it to be a replacement for a bank, energy resources would be so depleted just managing the banking through that system that it's not really tenable. So I don't know what the long run game plan is, outlook on cryptocurrencies. I don't know if they'll try to find a more energy efficient way of doing it, or if they'll try to find alternate energy sources and try to go more solar and battery to operate things so they're not sucking off the grid so much or burning fossil fuels. I don't really know, but it is definitely a real discussion that people are having about cryptocurrencies that just, it's got to be addressed sooner or later because it's becoming a serious problem for sure. A new app. Yeah, there is some weird app that I saw recently. I don't remember what it's called. I just saw a story saying they're working on an app. I don't think it's through testing or anything, but it can listen to your cough. And I guess the COVID cough has some type of a signature sound. I know people say once they hear somebody with COVID that they're like, oh, I know what that sounds like. I have known quite a few people who have gotten COVID. I have really not talked to very many of them when they're sick and heard the cough. Sheridan's mom had the cough for a while, and I heard it a little bit, but she really felt so bad she didn't want to be on the phone because every time she talked, she'd just start coughing. So, but yeah, they're using some type of sound print technology. I'm sure it's similar to what they've done with all the gunshot detection systems. I don't know if you've seen any of that, but they've had this thing for a while. I can't remember if it's Shot Spotter, I think is what it's called. I may be wrong about that, but I think it's Shot Spotter. And it's really cool. In some of the bigger cities, they mount an array of microphones on tops of buildings in a variety of places, and everything gets calibrated, and essentially the microphones can pick up gunshots, and they are even good enough at differentiating between fireworks and gunshots, because the sound, even though it may sound really similar to you, there's definitely some different sounds with the way the projectile for a bullet travels through the air after a gunshot, and the echo, and versus either thunder or fireworks or any of that kind of stuff that can make loud popping sounds. And so with the Shot Spotter, I keep calling it that, I hope that's right, they can actually not only tell if there's a gunshot, and then the system can alert the police that there's a gunshot, but then because of the array of microphones, they can triangulate the location roughly of where the gunshot even originated from. And so not only can they try to move, notify law enforcement there was a gunshot, they can actually try to move officers into that area, because now they have a triangulated area. That way, if there is a call of somebody who's been shot, or hostage situation, whatever, I don't know, they basically could have people, men and women, on the ground already closing in on the situation just based on it picking up that gunshot on the microphones. And so I know they're doing this in places and cities where they have a lot of gang activity and crimes. I think Chicago may be one of the places they were testing it. It's cool to see technology try to help in any way they can with controlling crime or helping people in need, because the police are overworked and underpaid. I realize there's whole nother debate to be had about the police people want to have, but I still very much appreciate them. They have helped me. I'm sure I've gotten in trouble with them before. I mean, we all do stupid things, but they have helped me a bunch of times. I really appreciate it. So it's nice to see technology making their jobs easier. I also like all the body cam stuff, so there's, all those things make it easier to not have people make up stories if you've got a full body cam rolling the whole time. Not that it's perfect, but you have a lot more of a story than you can pull data from that's a video recording, as opposed to something where people are just telling you whatever they want to tell you, because obviously when people are getting in trouble, they don't necessarily want to tell you the truth. It's easier if you do, probably, but they don't really want to tell you the truth most of the time. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. I saw I think I've told a lot of clients over the last year or so, China has really used technology to crack down on crime stuff. I've seen some crazy stuff with them, where there were these guys that were in China working there on tech. Basically, a lot of people have moved to China to work on stuff, because if you go to China, since they manufacture so much of the technology pretty much in the world, you can literally walk down within a couple of blocks on a street, and you could find a place that will help you if you've got an idea for tech. You could find places that will help you design it and spec it out and figure out, how to build whatever you want to work on and prototype it. There are markets within that same area that you can go in that will have just aisles and aisles and aisles of parts. Like, maybe you need a chip that can calculate dates for something, or you need some chip that'll do math equations, or some graphics chip, whatever you're looking for your device, because you need it to do certain functions. Maybe you need a Bluetooth function to your device, and so you're looking for Bluetooth chips. You can go in these markets and find literally any of these parts, and very rapidly put your prototype together, figure out what you want to do, and then within those same few blocks, you can find a factory that can manufacture whatever it is that you have put together specs-wise and parts-wise that you need, and print the packaging, label it, and get you a product in a box. So you can go from literally an idea that you're somebody living in America and you're like, man, I want to make this cool thing. You move to China, build some relationships on a few blocks of streets there with vendors, and you can make anything you want. And so all these people have moved there basically over the last probably 10, 15, 20 years, and massive communities of people that's the best place to be in the world if you want to invent gadgets and do stuff, as far as really, unleashing your potential to get it done quick. Not that you can't do it in other places, but just everything, eventually you're going to have something you need from China, just because they provide so much stuff for tech. So these guys were there basically for the DGI convention thing, and they were working there and doing idea stuff, and they were talking to him about what was, one of the weirdest things about living in China, in a communist place versus a capitalist place. And one of the guys said the weirdest for him was they have a lot of facial recognition cameras in China. They put them on the busiest intersections where they've got, just tons of pedestrians and cars and people moving around. And it will very rapidly, I want to say they can do like 13 faces simultaneously and be identifying who they are or something every second as they're rotating through a crowd, maybe even faster than that. I'm sure faster than that. And so essentially this guy went to the crosswalk and he jaywalked there. And in China, there are only two ways to pay. It's not credit cards or cash. You use either, I think it's WePay is one of, is that right? No, WeChat. WeChat is one of them. That's one of their social media platforms you can use to send payments. I cannot remember the other name. But there's two platforms that everybody uses. And the government has total and complete access to everyone's bank account on both of those services. And so this guy said as he crossed the street, he was jaywalking. And before he made it to the curb on the opposite side of the street, he actually got an alert on his phone from the payment app that said he had been fined essentially the equivalent of $25 for jaywalking. It had a picture of his face and showed him right there in the street. And so this literally happened from the time he stepped off the curb on one side of the street and before he got to the curb on the other side of the street. He had been notified of it, identified, and already had the money taken out of his bank account. There was no mail in the fine. It was just done. And so it's been interesting to see the response from a lot of people here that I've talked to, both liberal and conservative people. Some people are like, oh, I wouldn't be cool with that. And then other people are just fed up with all the crime in America that definitely people take advantage of the system. I do think capitalism promotes a lot of, get what you can, however you can. I don't think that's necessarily the message that they were trying to send, but it is money rules everything. That seems to be the message that has gotten through to people. So I don't know, interesting debate on whether using technology that way to really micromanage people is helpful or not. I definitely don't think as many people would try to get away with stuff if they were fined immediately, just had it taken from their bank account. That's intense though. I don't know how I feel about that. I have mixed emotions about it for sure. Maybe if we catch the people breaking into cars and stealing stuff and find them, that would be better, but I'm guessing they don't have any money, which is why they're stealing from cars in the first place. Most of them anyway. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you like that? Would you be cool with facial recognition fining people the minute they commit a crime? I'm curious. Nobody's said anything out there in a while. I appreciate those of you that are still here. We're 3/4 of the way through the live stream. We're going to do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. I hope to get a lot more people joining in. I obviously love talking about technology. And haven't been talking to many people in isolation these days. Like most of you, I do pretty much all my work remotely now. I go out occasionally, but mostly it's remote work. And so I don't get to talk to people about tech like I used to. I know, I totally understand the privacy concerns and arguments. It's such a weird double-edged sword. I mean, there are definitely times when I can see that, people are being threatened or harassed, or possibly governments have used data. Obviously, in lots of other countries, including China, they use data against people in ways that I don't agree with. And so, I can see there's benefits to VPNs and things like Signal for sending private messages because, I understand that, but I get that also being private opens up the opportunity for a criminal element to hide within that privacy. I don't know. It's just a really tough situation. I guess I wish more people were just accountable, wanted to do the right thing. I do think the majority of people do, but it is frustrating how many people, they don't care if they do the right thing or not. They just are doing their thing to get by. I think we've all had things like that happen, and it's frustrating. The American dream of allowing people in Brazil to sell off parts of the rainforest. Oh, I don't even know what's going on with Facebook in Brazil and the rainforest. I'll have to look into that. That sounds not like a good situation. I don't like it. Accountability, what's that? Yeah, right? Did you mean accounting? I think you meant accounting. That's extension 3. I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure you said accounting. Good grief. I've seen some crazy things over the years for sure. I'm not going to name any names, but I know Nancy remembers one of the last places she worked. There was a dude that worked there, I think, for like a year. That was one of the, I think, the head of the sales guys for the phone sales department. And after working hard, and he was somebody I had known in a previous life. I didn't help him get the job or anything like that. He was just somebody that I had known that was in a band and worked with another guy I used to work with was in the band with him, and I'd go see their band all the time. And man, he seemed like just a stand-up, super cool guy, great musician. Really enjoyed him, talking to him all the time whenever I'd see him. But I hadn't seen him in years. Ran into him there working the sales job, and I think after like a year, he stole a checkbook and started writing checks left and right and just emptying company bank accounts, buying things he wanted. I don't know what in the world he was thinking, because they were ready to send him to jail, which I don't blame him. That was craziness. So, yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes you think you know a person, you think everything's cool. It's not cool. I don't know if technology's ever going to fix that. I know it's interesting watching all the things where it can detect facial expressions and try to figure out if people are lying or whatever else they're doing. I don't know. That's we'll see what happens. It's crazy times. It's crazy times all over the world. What other questions people have? We got just over 10 minutes left on the live stream. There's only a few of you still here. I appreciate you staying anyway. It's nice to chat with some people. Like I said, I just love talking tech. So feel free to join us every Thursday. Bring whatever questions you have. I don't care if it's a novice question or an expert question. If I don't know it, I'll try to look up the answer. If I do know it, I'll tell you. If I can't find an answer, I'll tell you that too. I'm not looking to make up answers for people. I don't think that's helpful. So, yeah, whatever questions you have, I want to answer them. Hit me up. Can send them during the week in between if you want. Oh, geez. Nancy says he got deferred adjudication. He got off easy. Yeah, that was super disappointing. I think you liked him too. I think everybody kind of liked him until that moment. That was a crazy thing. I don't know. It's I've watched so many dumb things happen. I remember when Facebook first started, and I had so many companies that I work with that started having to make me lock Facebook down on their company routers because the employees would just not stay off social media. They were just like sitting at their desk, just scrolling through the feed, not doing anything. And it was funny too, because you could always tell who the Facebook problem people were. I'd lock down the firewall, and within a week, there'd be like one or two people that would disappear, and it was like, well, there was the Facebook problem. Or my favorite was this one guy who just suddenly started going to the bathroom like 15 to 20 minutes out of every single hour of the day. And it was like, dude. He's just in the bathroom on his 4G surfing Facebook on his phone because he couldn't stand it. He got fired within a week too. So, just unless you have some type of insane bowel issues suddenly, that's just not a good cover. Free tech support! I don't know what that means. Like, free tech support, we're in chains and we're held hostage fixing computers. Like, free us? Or like, it's free tech support, join us on Thursdays. They're both true. They're both true. You know it. Oh, dear. All right. We're running out of time here. What other questions do people have? Got any other questions, or you guys want to wrap this up? I'm happy to hang out till the end of this. So, it is you guys' call. Obviously, you can give me practically any subject, and I will ramble about it on technology. So if you're into that kind of thing, tell your friends if they're into it. Thursdays, 7, right here. We're going to be doing this thing. It's going to be fun. Oh, you're so late. What did you miss? We just been talking about all kinds of thing tech. Hey, man, thanks for joining in again. I must be like right at the end of your live stream that you happen to hop into this one. But I am super glad that you stopped by again, man. I really appreciate it. We've talked about Chinese facial recognition tickets when you cross the intersection, directly taken out of your bank account. We've talked about updates, whether you should install them or not on phones and computers. Talked about technology everywhere you look, including your refrigerator. We've covered all kinds of ground. We've just been blabbing on here for a while, so I'm just glad you showed up again, man. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. Do you have tech questions this week? I think I did a slightly lame job of answering yours last week on the which camera was good for astrophotography. If you would like actual like models or something, I will totally look up some stuff for you. Ooh, what camera are you using for this stream? This is the GH5S Lumix, Panasonic Lumix GH5S with the 12 to 35 millimeter lens, the Mark I zoom lens, and I've got it hooked up via HDMI to the computer, and I've got my, what is it, the Rode Video Micro, that's like their little $60 shotgun mic, mounted right on top of the camera, and using that for the audio. I'm assuming you think it looks a lot better than last week. I certainly think it looks a lot better than last week. I also added some more lighting, got the purple, where is it? There it is, the purple light in the background, got some green light I shoved in the bathroom back there to give us some lighting and layers. Inner gaffer was coming out trying to make it look nicer. Got a couple of light panels up here in the front, so awesome. Sound good to you too? Everybody says sounds good so far, but I don't have headphones in, so I hope it sounds good. I have no idea. There could be a giant squeal coming through, and I wouldn't know you guys were suffering through it. Did you just come from your live stream, Michael? Nice depth of field. Awesome, thanks, man. Yeah, I like the 4/3 cameras. They're not as shallow for sure as the full frame or as even the what is it, the APS-C sensors. But I kind of like that it's not quite so shallow. I don't like my eyeballs in focus and my ears to look like they've bled into the background. So I've been a huge fan of the Micro Four Thirds cameras. The Lumix line as well as Olympus makes some really nice stuff. I think it just has like a nice balance between kind of a little bit of a shallow depth of field where it's not too distracting, but you don't just obliterate everything behind you because, you know, it's kind of nice to see people in their world. This room's looking better. We had a giant fort that was like up to the ceiling last week, and so I just shoved that blue panel behind me to hide the chaos that was ensuing, but I much prefer to have some depth behind me to be able to see some stuff. So what am I shooting with? I just answered that one. It's the Lumix GH5S with the 12 to 35 millimeter Mark I lens. I don't know, I've had that lens for 5 years? I guess I've had the lens for like 5 years. I think I've had this camera body for coming up on close to 2 years. But still a fantastic camera. Works great in low light. Like I said, I've got it in here shooting at 2500 ISO right now. It has a dual native ISO, and so there's a native of 400 and 2500. I've got it on the native 2500, which looks just as clean. It like gets noisier and noisier, and then when it hits 2500, it resets back to fully clean again for the dual ISO, and then starts going up. So yeah, at 2500 ISO, I've got a couple of LED panels here, only set at 35%. And then a couple of these RGB bulbs back here, or I guess one bulb in that lamp and a little small like rechargeable light laying on the counter in the bathroom back there to light it up. But yeah, I love shooting with cameras that do good in low light for sure, because you don't have to blast yourself to death to be able to light a scene, which is nice. Not that you shouldn't light, because you should light your scenes. It looks a lot better. Let's just be honest. It always looks a lot better. But it sucks when you have to have the lights so bright when there's not a very light-sensitive camera that your like retinas are bleeding slightly as you're trying to hold them open and stare at the lens. So yeah, I like it a lot better for sure. What tech gadget are you reviewing next? I don't know yet. I've got the Duster, computer Duster review that is not quite finished. I need to shoot some B-roll for and post. That thing's been sitting there forever. We've got the Grav Grip that was the little like $35 GoPro stabilizer that's not electronic. It got like a little friction gear, a little plastic thing that was a Kickstarter that I ordered. Have not done the review on that guy yet. Got these cool little light panels we could do some reviews on. They're rechargeable and like $40, but they look fantastic. Sexy bleeding retinas. Shameless spam, spam, spam. You're hilarious. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Mostly I try to let you guys ask whatever questions you want, and gals. I'm not, or non-binary. This is an inclusive live stream. I'm not here to offend people, so you can go by any pronoun, or I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Just show up with your tech questions. I'm happy to answer them. What do they want to see? What do you guys want to see reviewed? Anybody? You got any types of reviews on things you'd like to see other people? I know there's only a few of here. It's okay, though. I'm excited that you're here. I hope that you come back next week because we're going to have fun. This is going to be it's going to be an ongoing thing. Should be good. Just an evolving set of discussions. I don't know where we're going with this, but it's got to start somewhere. We're starting here. All right, we only got like 3 minutes left. Smart ovens. We can talk about smart ovens more. I'll do some more research. We can talk about smart ovens next time. I'm fine with that. I like smart ovens. Even super fancy toast makers. They got them. Apparently, if you want toast that's perfect, it needs to be like in a steam bath with an element on each side. This oven like alternates back. I don't know, crazy stuff to get you the perfectly crunchy outside of the bread, moist inside of the bread. I clearly don't think I've ever had a perfect piece of toast in my life because the description sounds amazing and I don't have that toast. It's just crunchy usually. You gotta put stuff on it, so. I don't know. We'll talk about smart ovens. That's fine. I'll add it to the list. Best devices made out of vibranium. Ooh, I like it. Walking stick is handy for sure. I mean, what can you not do with a vibranium walking stick? I'm going to let you think about it for next time because there are a lot of options for a vibranium walking stick. Besides just weaponing and walking, you've got poking and swiping. I don't know. You got a lot of options is all I'm saying. All right, people. What else people want to know? We got a minute and a half. Shameless plugs. Those are going on in the comments. Thursdays at 7 Central. Had one friend that showed up last week at 8 thinking it was going to be 7 Mountain Time or something. I don't know what he was thinking. He was probably tired like the rest of us. Stuck in his house and doesn't know what day it is. Woo! I'm ready for this pandemic to be over so we can get on with some fun again. I miss it. So, 7 p.m. Central. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for coming, Nancy. Thank you for stopping back by, Michael. I really appreciate it, man. It's awesome to see you. Were you at a live stream? Is that what was going on? Because if you are, I got to find a way to catch your live stream. Maybe I'll have to pop by, or maybe I just need to watch it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe mine will end early and I can shoot over to yours. But I'm assuming that's what's going on. All right. 7:59. It is winding down. We'll see what we can improve for next time. We made the picture better this time. The lighting's better. The audio's rocking. Maybe we'll get some lower thirds going next time, or maybe some live comments showing up on. I don't know. We've got so many things we can improve. Just going to pick something each week. Try to make it a little better. Make the world a better place. Sweet. Thanks, Michael. I will look for the link and I will check it out, man. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. It is 8 here at my time. I've very much enjoyed it. It is time for me to get dinner with my kids and get them in bed. I've been working all day and now live streaming, so I'm going to go see them. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Please come back. I enjoyed it very much. Hasta luego.